Sania, unmute yourself. Okay. Read it.
Difference between bookkeeping and accountancy. Point. Meaning. It is concerned with recording and classifying the business transactions. Accountancy. It is related with recording, classifying, summarizing, analyzing, and interpreting the financial data.
Okay, wait. So very perfectly said. Bookkeeping means we already know what is that. As and how transaction took place in the business, that is going to be recorded immediately. That is what bookkeeping. So basically, bookkeeping is related to classifying, recording, and summarizing the transaction. So the next question arises. As I know, I said someone purchased the goods or we purchased the goods from our party. We are going to be recording our purchase book. So that is what classification. I am recording the transaction in purchase book. If I am selling the product, I am recording in that in selling book. So that is what bookkeeping. But accountancy is one step ahead of bookkeeping. What I am saying, accountancy is one step ahead of bookkeeping, and that is nothing but I can say bookkeeping plus analyzing and interpreting. समझ में आया? एनालाइज इंटरप्रिटेशन का काम बुक कीपिंग नहीं करता है. बुक कीपिंग सिर्फ और सिर्फ ट्रांजैक्शन को रिकॉर्ड करता है, क्लासिफाई करता है. And after recording, classifying and summarizing the business transaction, what decision supposed to be taken, analyze, conclusion, interpretation, that is the part of accountancy. So I can say where bookkeeping ends, accountancy starts over there. जहां पे बुक कीपिंग की सोच खत्म होती है वहां पे अकाउंटिंग की सोच शुरू होती है. So that is what accountancy. So it means accountancy is by default bookkeeping plus analyzing and interpretation. Go ahead, Sania.
Bookkeeping is the primary stage in accounting. It is the base for accounting. Accountancy. Apart from the primary stage, it includes secondary stage of analysis and interpretation.
So unless and until the transaction is not going to be recorded in the business, how we are going to judge it? So it means in a bookkeeping, I can say it is the primary stage. What is primary stage? Just record a transaction. Once the transaction record finalized, it means it is already classified and also summarized. After that, we have to conclude. We have to analyze, interpret. So that is what included in accountancy. So this is secondary stage. Primary stage of a data is just record the transaction, and the secondary stage of data is analyzing and interpretation. So all of you, have you understand till here? Go ahead, Sania, from the third point, objective.
Objectives. The objective of bookkeeping is to keep the records of all financial transactions in proper and systematic manner. Accountancy. The objective of accounting is to prepare the financial statement and further communicate the information to relevant authorities.
So then what is the main objective of recording business transactions in the books of account? Just to get the exact idea about how we are maintaining our book and what is financial transaction happen during the financial year. And for that purpose, we have to record all the data systematically. Then what is the meaning of accountancy? Once the data is already systematically recorded, after that, that recorded information should be communicated to the interested party. So, or relevant authorities. So, who are the relevant authorities for the business? Owner, management, suppliers, customers. So, all stocks, I can say, all the vendors are the related parties. So, clear everyone? What objective we have seen? Bookkeeping means systematically record and that should be communicated with the proper authority. That is what accountancy says. Go ahead with the next point.
Responsibility. Junior staff is responsible for keeping records. Accountancy. Senior staff is responsible for keeping accounts.
So we know since recording is like a clerical work, only junior staff is required. Matlab newly admitted student, newly admitted person who is an accountant, he has basic knowledge, can able to record the business transaction in the books of account. Then why in accountancy senior staff required? Because he should have the experience to analyze and conclude the thing for preparing financial statement. So for that purpose, here senior staff is required. Go ahead.
Outcomes. Bookkeeping basically results in journal and ledger. The results of accountancy is profit and loss account, balance sheet.
When I am saying I wanted to prepare the financial statement, so base for preparation of financial statement is a trial balance. And how trial balance is prepared? Trial balance is prepared with the help of ledger balances. So what is exactly the meaning of journal and ledger? We are supposed to see in detail later because it is a separate chapter. And please remember, if you are able to understand the chapter of journal as well as the chapter of ledger, then only you are able to understand the whole syllabus of 11th standard as well as 12th standard. Because in 12th standard, each and every problem is either asked with the help of journal entries or with the help of ledger account. So at the appropriate time, I will explain that in detail. But for the time being, remember journal or you can say bookkeeping basically related to with the help of journal and ledger. So journal means you have to record day-to-day business transaction and that should be posted. So that is what we can say the ledger. That should be posted into respective account. So that is what ledger. Then when we prepare journal and ledger, then the final stage comes where financial statement is prepared and that is what we can say final account. So basically trading, profit and loss and balance sheet will be prepared, which is the part of accounting, whereas journal and ledger is the part of bookkeeping. Go ahead.
Period. Bookkeeping gives day-to-day details. Accountancy gives details of entire year.
Since we already say as how the transaction took place in the business, we have to be record. So bookkeeping is related to day-to-day transaction, whereas you can say we require to conclude whatever data we recorded in the books of. So we have to analyze and interpret. So that is what accountancy did. So accountancy gives us the data of entire year, whereas bookkeeping is gives the data of day to day. Go ahead.
Analysis. Process of bookkeeping does not require any analysis. Accountant uses bookkeeping information to analyze and interpret the data and then compiles it into reports.
So you already know when I am saying bookkeeping, so bookkeeping never does the analysis. Why? Because it is the part of accountancy. Bookkeeping का part क्या है? Only classify, record and summarize in the set of books of account. Set of books of account means you can say journal, ledger, cash book, bank book and so on. Purchase return, sales return. But once it is so, for the accounting or for the accountancy, bookkeeping is mandatory. Unless and until you didn't record the data in the books of account, you can't able to analyze. And why we need to analyze or interpret? Because on that basis, we are supposed to prepare the report and which is supposed to give to the higher authority for taking the decision. Go ahead.
Decision making. Management cannot take a decision based on the data provided by bookkeeping.
Why?
Depending on...
Okay. Stop 1 minute. So why management cannot take the decision? Because for taking the decisions, we have to analyze and interpret. But bookkeeping never does that activity, analyze and interpret. It is just, its scope is limited to record, classify, summarize. The same point is again repeating, and that's why decision making, it will not help for taking any decision, financial decision. Okay, go ahead.
Depending on the data provided by the accountants, the management can take critical business decisions.
So basically, management can take the decision after the analysis and interpretation part gets over, and that part is involved in accountancy. Go ahead.
Skill required. Analytical skill is not required for bookkeeping. Accountancy requires analytical skill.
Analytical skill, why it doesn't require? Again, the logic and answer will be the same only. So it is limited to and the scope is limited to record the transaction. But here analytical skill required. Analytical skill means you can say bird eye view. You have to prepare data, and after the data is prepared with the help of bookkeeping, you have to analyze and interpret for taking the proper appropriate decision and for preparing your financial statement. So here, accountancy use the analytical skill. That's it. This is what the important things of bookkeeping and accountancy. Since our name of the chapter or since our textbook name itself is bookkeeping and accountancy, everyone should understand the exact meaning of bookkeeping as well as exact meaning of accounting. So everyone clear till here what I will quickly see what we have seen right now. Okay. Therefore, you require the knowledge of bookkeeping as well as accountancy, its meaning and all. Why so? Because our subject name itself is bookkeeping and accountancy. So one by one, answer what we have seen the distinction point here. Remember today I just wanted to take this much. Chalo, tell me, those who are facing the network issue, you can leave the meeting and again rejoin. It will get sorted. Or restart your laptop, computer, PC, mobile, whatever resources you are using. Chalo, okay, those who want to answer, I will unmute few students. Whatever things you remember, you just have to answer. So, who want to answer? Once unmute yourself and tell me any one distinction point of bookkeeping and accountancy.
Sir, bookkeeping gives day-to-day details and accountancy gives details of entire year.
Okay, that is perfectly said. Do you know anything more apart from this?
Yeah, sir, bookkeeping is concerned with recording and analyzing, and
Pardon,
accountancy is
pardon.
yes, sir.
You made a mistake. Bookkeeping is related to recording but not analyzing. Bookkeeping is related to recording, classifying and summarizing.
Classifying.
Hmm.
Yeah. And accountancy is concerned with recording, classifying, and summarizing.
No, it is the part of bookkeeping. So accountancy by default involved whatever bookkeeping says, it is one step ahead and that involves analysis and interpretation. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Okay, want to answer? Unmute yourself and answer.
Sir, bookkeeping is the primary stage in accounting, and accountancy it includes in secondary stage of analysis and interpretation.
Okay, perfectly said. Anything else? Any another point you want to say?
Yes, sir. Junior staff is responsible for keeping records, and senior staff is responsible for keeping accounts.
Okay, very perfectly said. Very good. So, okay, I will give you the chance to another student now, Pooja. Today, I just wanted to take the distinction part because it is highly important. Please keep that in mind. Yes, Pooja.
Yes, sir. Bookkeeping basically results in journal and ledger. Accountancy results in profit and loss accounts and balance sheet.
Perfectly said. Very perfectly said. Anything else point you remember?
Yes, sir. Bookkeeping in bookkeeping management cannot take any decision because there is no analysis and interpretation. In accountancy, management can take decision because there is analysis and interpretation.
Very perfectly said. Very perfectly said. Very good. Okay. Anyone else want to answer? Tanya wants to answer. Okay. I am glad that you are understanding the concept. Good. Yes, Tanya.
In bookkeeping, analytical skill is not required, and in accountancy, analytical skill is required.
Very perfectly said. Anything else?
No, all the points are covered.
Even though all the points are covered, if anything you remember, you can repeat that.
Bookkeeping records business transaction, and accountancy interprets, summarize, and analyzes the transaction.
Okay. Now I am slightly changing the question. Concentrate. Now I will give you the point and you have to tell me that distinction. Okay. I will randomly pick up the point and you just have to answer that point particularly. So chalo, who will tell about the stages? Pooja is saying she wants to answer. Okay. Yes, Pooja, answer.
Bookkeeping is the primary stages in accounting. It is the base for accountancy. The accountancy is apart from primary stage. The accountancy is the secondary stage. It also includes analysis and interpretation.
Perfect. Even Aditi, you said correctly. Very good. So chalo, next point. Tell me about objectives. Someone else tell me objectives. Yes, Modita.
The objective of bookkeeping is to keep the records of all transactions in proper and systematic way. And in accountancy, the objective of accounting is to prepare the financial statement and further communicate the information to the relevant authorities.
Perfectly. So even you said correctly and Sania, you typed the answer correctly. Okay, fair enough. Tell me the next point. Period. Answer this about the time duration. Dhrumi is saying she wants to answer. Okay. So Dhrumi, answer this.
Sir, in periods, bookkeeping gives day-to-day details, and in accountancy, it gives details of entire year.
Perfectly said. Even answer given by Priyal, Shruti, Sania, Nimesh, Sakshi, Harsh. Everyone, your answer is correct. Very good. Okay, now the next point. Analytical skills. Chalo, bolo. Even Shruti, you said correctly. Who want to answer this analytical skill? Okay, Pooja said correctly. In bookkeeping, it's not required. Okay. Analytical skill is not even Priyal, you said correctly. So in accountancy, it is required. Fair enough? Okay, only one student has some doubt, beta. I just read now. Okay, Vansh is asking, sir, can you explain objectives again? Okay, fair enough. What is the objective of bookkeeping? To record the business transaction. Why we want to record the business transaction? Next question arises. Because once we record the business transaction, then it will help us to analyze what is going on in the business. And after doing the analysis part, we can interpret its result, output, outcome, what is coming, and that should be discussed with the proper authority. The authority, because of that, it can be able to take the decision. Now it is clear? Vansh? ओके चलो टेल मी द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट सबसे पहले जो बोलना चाहिए था और पूछना चाहिए था दैट इज मीनिंग टेल मी अबाउट मीनिंग our subject name itself is bookkeeping and accountancy na so tell me the meaning of both the things so anyone wants to answer voluntarily so I will unmute you let me know all the answer typed by Rahul, Pooja, Sakshi, Ritesh, Harsh, Alida, correct. Even Prarthana, everyone's answer is correct. Anyone want to answer this voluntarily? So I will unmute you. Pooja, will you answer again?
Meaning of bookkeeping is it is concerned with recording, classifying, and summarizing the business transactions. Accountancy, it is concerned with recording, classifying, summarizing, analyzing, and interpreting the financial data.
That is perfect. It means where bookkeeping ends, actually accountancy starts. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, so Pooja, you only continue reading the next point. I just wanted to finish till here today. Meaning and definition of accountancy.
Yes, sir.
Okay, read it.
Meaning and definition of accountancy. Bookkeeping is a part of accounting. It is the primary stage in accounting. It is the process of recording transactions in the books of accounts. The accounting is a part of accountancy. Accountancy, the practice of recording, classifying, and reporting of business transactions for a business. Accounting, the principles are the basic.
Pooja. So I think in the first three lines we already know the meaning of bookkeeping. Correct. Bookkeeping means recording business transactions systematically. It involves classification, summarization also. It is the primary stage. Unless and until you didn't able to record the transaction in the books of account, you cannot able to proceed. So basically, bookkeeping is the part of accounting and accounting is the part of accountancy. Exactly what is the meaning of accounting? Accounting means recording the business transaction which took place in the business, and you just have to classify that particular purchase entry should be recorded in purchase book, sales entry will be recorded in sales book, and so on. Means in the set of books of account, you have to properly record the business transaction. And then in the same way, after that, we can say accounting is the part of accountancy. So where apart from recording, classifying, summarizing, when analysis and interpretation came into the picture, we should say now we are speaking about accountancy. Okay, go ahead now.
Accounting principles are the basic norms and assumptions developed and established as the basics for accounting system. These principles are adopted by the accountants universally.
So there are some, we already seen in the definition, it is an art and science. Why we said? Because certain rules and regulations are there, and while maintaining or recording the transaction or maintaining books of account, by default we have to follow all that rules and transactions, regulations, after that principle. So that's why whatever principles are there, that should be followed by everywhere, universally. So that is what the part of accountancy we can say. So now again go ahead with the next part.
Definitions. First one. Accountancy refers to the entire body of the theory and process of accounting by Kohler.
Okay, in short, what we can say, accountancy means it is the process of accounting. Accounting means recording the business transaction in the books of account systematically. Go ahead.
Professor Robert N. Anthony has defined accounting as nearly every business enterprise has an accounting system. It is a means of collecting, summarizing, analyzing, and reporting in monetary terms information about the business transaction.
So obviously, when you are running the business, so every business has their different policies, how they are supposed to record the business transaction, but they have to be record that business transaction. And why we require to record the business transaction? If we want to generate any kind of report which will helpful to the owner of the business to take the financial decision, for that purpose, the recording is necessity. So again, the same part is coming. You just have to record business transaction which involve money or money's worth in systematic way, in systematic manner by given all rules and regulations principles. So basically, whatever author says that you should remember, even though you didn't able to remember the name of author, that is perfectly fine. But what is said in the definition that you should remember. Keep that point in mind. So everyone clear till here? Have you understood what I just now? Today we have seen a very simple thing, only two things. What is the exactly distinction point of bookkeeping and accounting? So bookkeeping is related to accounting and accounting is related to accountancy. Remember that. Accountancy means in summarized form, I can say bookkeeping plus one stage ahead, that is analysis and interpretation.
In the book, many definitions for bookkeeping are given. So which definition do we have to learn for the exam?
Okay, very good question you asked. Remember, a perfect and best definition of bookkeeping means what? It is an art and science to record business transaction in books of account which involve money's or money's worth systematically. Clear?
Yes.
Even you can merge the definition. Only what is the important keyword? Remember, keywords should be coming into your answer. You don't need to mugging up the things. Remember, whatever concept you are understanding, you have to write in your own way. Still, you will get the full mark. Clear?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, fair enough. So, can I conclude that you understand today's lecture or today's topic, whatever we have seen?